Hey, it's Kaylee. You know me as the Parts Girl, and I work here at PartsEdge. Thanks for following this awesome journey as we highlight thought leaders and trailblazers, share best practices in fixed ops, and cover success stories of how dealers sell more parts and service. This is the PartsEdge podcast with Kaylee Filio. Hey everyone, welcome to the PartsEdge podcast. I am super excited to be interviewing Mac with Mike Murphy Ford. Welcome, Mac.
Hi.
Hi. We were just talking. So Mac, actually, his name's Bryan. So he adopted the nickname Mac. I think that's your like a short
Short
version
version
of
of
your
my
last.
last name.
Yeah. Okay.
Most of the guys in my family have used it. My dad, my grandfather, a cousin of mine. So,
Long history of Bryans in the family.
well,
And
Mac. Not all of them were
oh,
Brian.
got it.
Sorry.
Okay. No, but it's funny how we were talking about how, like, there's just so many Bryans in the world, and I, too, have a lot of Bryans in my life, so it's funny. But anyway, let's get right to it. I just wanna know just where you came from, just kinda like your journey, how you got into auto. It's always a funny, curious, it's always funny how people end up here in
Yeah.
auto.
To be completely honest, I kind of fell into it. So I mean, getting out of high school, I never knew exactly what I wanted to do. I had several ideas. Kind of had to find something to fill the gap. Grew up around cars. I mean, my dad kind of always like worked on them on the side and stuff. My grandfather like restored cars, so it
Cool.
was always a thing that I was around. I started out just doing like lube rack stuff, like oil changes, tires, batteries, things like that.
Yeah.
It eventually ended up in the parts department, and that was almost 15 years ago that I first originally ended up in a parts department. So,
Wow, 15. Okay, so you've been in parts for 15 years. All right, so in parts for 15 years, what about parts do you really enjoy? I would assume most people I talk to enjoy parts.
yeah, it's one of those things that's weird. Like it's really enjoyable some days, and makes you want to rip your hair out others. Part of the reason that's so short, so I can't grab it. Uh, but no, I my favorite part, honestly, I think is finding that sort of impossible to find thing. Like they, haven't made it in forever. All of them are gone. Someone's trying to find it for like projects or just a car they've been driving forever, don't want to change, what have you. And I don't know, being with a person that can sort of magically find that somewhere in the world that no one thought even existed in the wild anymore. It's really good feeling for me.
It's almost like a really big scavenger hunt, and you're providing that, like, that thing that they need, and yeah, so that's really cool.
Yeah. God, there was even one. I guess it wasn't like I don't know, obsolete or like discontinued, but a wiring harness for something that caught fire under the hood one day. It was on back order. There were like none of them to be had. I ended up having to use Google Translate on my phone. The one out there was in. I apologize, it's getting away from me. Uh, Puerto Rico. The only one out there was in Puerto Rico. I didn't even realize that at first. Like I called the number on the locator and everyone was speaking Spanish, and then it occurred to me.
Yeah.
So I had to use Google Translate to try and politely figure out how to ask for the parts department and if
Wow.
anyone spoke English.
Yeah.
Fortunately, the guy that answered the phone, as soon as I said that, I think it took him a second. My accent's probably awful. He was like, "Oh wait, yeah, yeah, I speak English," and somehow it came UPS ground from Puerto Rico a couple days later.
Wow, that's incredible. I called Puerto Rican dealerships before. It's interesting. But, so when you first got into the role as a parts manager, what were some of the things that you, just realized that maybe you didn't think about before being in the role? Is there anything,
Ah,
did you get a lot of
I think
help? Yeah.
I did have a lot of help. Everyone here was really supportive, and frankly, when I first got here, I think it took me a few weeks just to get used to everyone being so friendly. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite, uh, quite the same in the place that I came from. So it was a big change in that way. But the yeah, my predecessor here was, I believe 33 years that he was here. So big shoes to fill, a lot of good and a lot of, I don't know, I don't wanna say bad, but a lot of habits, already kind of set in, so it's been quite a journey.
I would imagine, like, I remember when we first talked, just taking over for someone that had been in the role for 33 years. It's not like I know what you're saying, like the habits. It's more of like they're just really good at what they're doing and they get the results that they want, and they're not really like in the mode of like looking at new things that could help them, I think is what tends to happen when I see, yeah, those, yeah.
Yeah, and with that, I mean, I think you kind of nailed something, and it's frankly one of the things I think you guys have helped with. I find, I mean, being someone new here among a lot of people that have been here for a very long time, um, there's a lot of there's an interest in change, but at the same time, everyone is so used to what they've been doing. They're comfortable with it. It's safe, and
Mhm.
the idea of changing is uncomfortable and scary, uncertain sometimes.
Yeah.
And so, trying to, I don't navigate that dynamic of, the desire for, like, change and growth, while also dealing with the aversion to everything that is. So it's been kind of an interesting thing with merging those 2 together.
Yeah, I think you are not alone. It's happened a lot. And I think it's something I'm glad we're talking about it because, just kind of going through, that with, bringing in a solution like PartsEdge, how was it for the team or for your, like, to go through? Because you also are going through change too. What you know, and then what we're introducing and helping with some of the problems you're having. So I guess talk through, yeah, how that was.
Well, I suppose that's kind of a two-part thing. For me, I changed, roles, brands, and companies all at the same time coming here. So all of that, I don't know if I would personally recommend, all 3 of those changes at once to someone. It's definitely possible, but it is not to be underestimated. But with that, I mean, just trying to get used to all of the things with, the different brand, for example, that is somehow exactly the same and completely different at the same time. Uh, it's kind of crazy how that one goes.
Yeah,
But
it is.
also, I mean, the things no one tells you, particularly with managing people, because I mean, I think it gets lost. Everyone kind of has their own interests and motivations and sort of different things that allows them to do like their best work. And I see it as part of my job to help facilitate that and to know those things about any of the people working like under me and try to help them along with that. But I mean, and unfortunately, that's one of the things that no one really tells you ahead of time or it necessarily teaches. So, probably that for the biggest one that I wasn't used to, didn't expect.
Yeah. Yeah, I would, managing people and leading people and all of that is it's its own, it needs a constant I it's a constant, as a leader, you're constantly reviewing and, like, what can you do to be there and do better for your team? And then, yeah, so there's a lot there with that. But what about, like, I guess as far as what are the biggest things that we've done for you or allowed you? Have we given you more time to be able to be more of a leader and be with your team or train them, or how do I don't know, like, what are your
No, fair question. I think so. I mean, admittedly, it's still kind of a work in progress. So It's funny, there was a lot of change sort of already converging at the time that I came here. So with the old parts manager leaving, some of the things with Ford had kind of been changing as well. So the like Ford authorized distributors, it's where we get a lot of our stuff, fluids, filters, spark plugs, wipers, it, some of those things, at least as I understand it, you can't really get from Ford unless you get like pallets or truckloads of it. So that's where they fill the sort of intermediary and that. But there were discounts that they used to get for things that Ford cut that, and as such, I mean our prices for some of those things went up because they were getting charged more, so we were getting charged more. But also, with as much business as we did with them, we, kind of used to get a return allowance sort of supplied by them, and that went away right around the same time I got here, which really created 2 problems because 1, differentiation between that changing and me changing, and with the old parts manager leaving. I don't know if it was completely clear in everyone's mind, like, which thing was sort of to blame for what. Uh Yeah, so, I mean, I get here, obsolescence starts growing because one of the major ways that it was leaving went away at the same time I got here, and without even really a conversation taking place on kind of what we were going to do with that instead, it starts growing. In the meantime, less than a year into my time here, we did DMS change from Reynolds and Reynolds to Automate, which they're reporting through another wrench and works of that whole existing problem. It made so much of it so much harder to track. Uh, which I mean, to that end, what you guys have helped with tremendously is the reports on things to send back and aging. Really, just kind of saved me from dealing with Automake fighting with on that in trying to just quickly and easily have a list of things like, hey, I'm gonna run down this, find them, get this sent back so it doesn't sit around, age out, and that's been a huge help.
So more of, like, just giving you more clarity, saving you time, and just kinda putting that information in front of you so you can make those decisions as a parts manager, it sounds like. 'Cause that's a
Yes,
lot.
absolutely.
Taking over and going through a DMS conversion, new brand, all of that. How did you find PartsEdge? Like, what was it someone that told you about it, or did you just happen to see us?
Yeah, so it was I don't know if they want to be mentioned
Oh,
exactly, but
that's okay.
another dealer. It was another dealer in 20 group meeting of
Oh, that's
ours,
right.
and we'd heard good things, so we set up the initial like I don't know meeting that we had, and it's kind of gone from there.
Yep. That's awesome. I always like asking that question because it's most of the time it's, someone was like, "Hey, you gotta check out PartsEdge. This is what they're doing." Um, so it's just kinda like, you were noticing that obsolescence creep up and putting that, like, stop the bleeding in place, because unfortunately I mean, yeah, it looked like it was your fault, but, like, obsolescence isn't a next month issue, it's, like, something that was created months and before, so it's not just the fact that you lost return allowance, I think, because it's like, why did that stuff even come in the first place, too?
Yeah, well, and that was one of the issues with auto hate that I've kind of gone around with them on. They don't really have a good report for it. There's one that they constantly point to, but it's this really kind of poorly laid out, ambiguous PDF that you run. And really, all I've wanted is something that's say exportable to Excel and has like quantity, part number, customer name, order date, receipt date. I mean, nothing crazy, all information that exists in it, but they don't have it. Between that and yeah, exactly. Uh, but no, I mean with that and just I mean, like I said, when like the return allowance that we were getting for the Fad, because I mean the only one from Ford is the 60-day returns, and I suppose now the rim returns, but I mean that only takes care of rim controlled parts. But between fairly recently and when the Fad stopped doing that allowance for us, I mean there was a lot of stuff that built up because it wasn't going out the way that it used to, and I unfortunately, it's something that no one clearly explained it to me to begin with.
Mm.
And without knowing that, without having had a conversation about it, and just having the discussion internally about how we deal with that moving forward, I mean, it grew. The problem just became what it was, and that's what we're working on unraveling now with your help.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're seeing that improvement. So I wanna go back to kinda like leadership and, it sounds like that you have a great, team that's very supportive. But
Absolutely.
it seems like with just dealerships in general
Mhm.
don't like have a standard metric or w for their parts managers for like inventory health. I've noticed. Like, yeah, there's management reports in the DMS, but like I feel like there's not this standard thing. There's or if there is, it's like very basic, like they look at part sales and somewhat of obsolescence number. There's not really anything else, right? Am I crazy or
Um,
kind of what happened?
yes and no. It kind of depends. So, I mean, there are some NADA standards. I mean, 45-day supply, things like that. Which I mean, as an example, excuse me, the 20 group composites, for example. I mean, if looking at that and some of the other dealers, if someone is like way over on their like day's supply, I would typically think that that is an indicator of obsolescence growing because I mean, generally speaking, a huge influx of business is fairly uncommon. So I mean, the only way that happens is things coming in and not leaving. And I mean, it was kind of from that that I started to think that I mean it's a more common problem that I think often gets talked about.
Yeah, it
Uh,
gets talked about, right? But like there's not really um I don't know. I feel like we can do better as far as
oh, absolutely. And I mean, further to your question, no, I mean between DMS reports, NADA standards, 20 groups, and I mean anything else, they all seem to point to different metrics and tell you different things matter. So that's kind of another one that I'm sort of trying to pin down still. Which one of those or what things from each of them kind of have the highest impact and are the biggest gauge of what health for that really looks like? I mean, some of them seemingly are eh, kind of antithetical to each other. Like they improving one will kind of cause the other to look worse, but I mean, it's a matter of which one you think is more important.
Mhm. I could see that. Yeah. What are your thoughts on just like what we're reporting to you? Because it's you probably haven't seen anything the way that we display it, as far as I know. So, like, what are your thoughts on like how you look at your inventory now that we display it in the way that we do to you?
So first off, the one report, like having everything on one page is
Mhm.
absolutely fantastic. Going to a bunch of different places, trying to find different things all over, that was always a pain. And I mean, being very like, data minded myself, being able to compare all of those things on the page as they are is very helpful.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to hear. I think that's the biggest thing is you have to go to a lot of different places to get what you need when we put it into one place. And then you can drill down or look at or ask for the detail when you need it. and it's not all the detail all at one. I think that's the biggest thing. Just to kind of like wrap up, is there anything that you want to add as far as like, I don't know, when you felt like Parts Edge was really working for you, or is there anything I guess you want to add?
Yeah, no, so I mean, I think I had mentioned this in my original message too. It, the dynamic approach. I mean, one thing I've noticed with a lot of like consultants and different things like that, especially in this business, um, it I find there are two kinds. They're the ones that they have a lot of sort of very cookie cutter sort of textbook stuff that they come in and just it's like they're coming in and reading the book to you, so to speak, and it not that there's no merit to that, but, I find much better results from dynamic problem solving. I mean, not every place is the same, there are different circumstances, and I mean, staff, DMSs, and, like, management's all tied
Manufacturers.
up,
Yeah.
manufacturers, all of it.
Mhm.
And I mean, you guys have been absolutely fantastic with the dynamic problem solving. I mean, I have an issue, I get a hold of you guys, talk about it, and it's not just this like, oh, well, this has been the standard for the last 40 years, so go with this. Like it's actually trying to solve the problem as it
Mhm.
is, rather than yeah, I don't know what the book says it should be, and there's a lot of merit to that, I think.
That's really cool to hear. I value that that's how we, and that's what the feedback I get a lot of the times is, we're really working through because it's not a one size fits all. We also have, we have a standard process, right, that we're implementing to help you and support you. But then that's also once that's implemented, it's taking that and fine tuning it to the way that you do business. And when things come up, you're able to, I don't know, ask those questions so we can solve the problem. So that's cool.
I believe I mentioned it before.
Mhm.
Like when Chuck was saying that you guys were good with translating, I have to say he absolutely nailed it with that. But there have been a few things already that I mean conversations I've tried to have and never seemed to go quite right. And having you guys involved and showing the data in many ways better than I could, and doing a better job explaining it, frankly. Just from a more, we'll say, objective, sort of top-down view. I think it has really gone a long way to just getting things moving. I mean, because compare taking that along with the like wanting change, but not also wanting change at the same time.
Well, we don't want change sometimes because we don't fully understand things and it's hard. So I think where you're going with that is like we're like the liaison, we're like the translator between, what a dealer or GM looks at and what a parts manager looks at because you're looking at it in two different ways. So we're like we always seem to kind of bridge that and translate it better. I feel like I'm trying to help you. I think that's what you're saying. I don't want to speak for you.
No, no, no. Honestly, you did perfectly, and the way that you were able to articulate that proves my point exactly.
Yeah, that's good. I've been saying it for a while, so it's not the first time. Because it happens all the time, so you're not alone. Um, yeah. So I really appreciate you taking the time. I love your journey into auto because I feel like no one really ever plans to get into it. It just kind of happens, but then it creates this really great career in life for us and it's also something that we really enjoy and sometimes we want to pull our hair out. So it's that good challenge of balance.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.